Back at it today with another video, as today we're going to be looking at baseball's top 10 teams. And at this time of year, it is tough to pick a top 10 list because there are so many teams that you could argue to be on the list, so I'm going to go over a few honorable mentions at the end of the video. But anyways, with that in mind, let's get right into the rankings. At number 10, I have the New York Yankees. The Yankees are a tough team to rank because on paper they're arguably a top 5 team in baseball, but they've had numerous injuries to start out the season. Offensively, they've been without their best player in Aaron Judge, and obviously in their starting rotation they have had numerous injuries as well. They've gotten big contributions from players like Anthony Rizzo and Gleyber Torres, and even Anthony Volpe. He's been stepping up big time lately, and in their starting rotation, Gerrit Cole has been carrying the load. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball up to this point. As we stand today, the Yankees are 22-18, which is last place in the loaded AL East, but they are 7-3 in their last 10 games, and as they get more healthy, I think they're going to get better and better, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them get up towards the top of the AL East. At number 9, I have the Minnesota Twins. I know a lot of you might think this is too high for a team like the Twins, who is leading the worst division in baseball. But I'm a huge fan of this starting rotation. You could argue that they have the best starting rotation in the league as we stand today. Pablo Lopez, Sonny Gray, and Joe Ryan look like 3 legitimate aces in the same rotation, so this starting rotation, I'm a huge fan of it, and I think they can carry the Twins a pretty long way. Offensively, on the other hand, they're not too great. Byron Buxton has been pretty good, but outside of him, they haven't been getting much contributions from players like Carlos Correa and Jorge Polanco, who they are leaning on heavily. But I think they will pick it up offensively. I don't think they're a top 10 offense, but I do think they are sort of middle of the pack. I think they're going to get a little bit better as this season goes on, and with how good this starting rotation and bullpen has the potential to be, I think they can take the Twins a pretty long way. At number 8, I have the Houston Astros. Houston hasn't necessarily gotten off to the hottest start for their standards, at least, as they currently sit at 20-18, which is good for second in the AL West. Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez have been playing very well early on this season, and Jose Altuve is expected to return sometime next week. I think Altuve is going to have a huge impact on this offense. I think he's going to help out other players in this lineup who have been struggling, and Alex Bregman and Jose Abreu, I think he's going to get on base ahead of them and give them more opportunities to drive in runs. Now for their rotation, Christian Javier and Framber Valdez have looked like aces this year. They have been very good, and they've also gotten some good contributions from Hunter Brown. So the Astros may not be quite the team they have been in recent years, but they're still a very good team and a top 10 team at that. At number 7, I have the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox have been one of baseball's most surprising teams early on. They currently sit at 22-17, which is good for 4th place in the AL East. Offensively, the Red Sox have been one of baseball's best teams. They've gotten some huge contributions from Rafael Devers and Masataka Yoshida and many others throughout the lineup. The one big question mark surrounding this team is their starting rotation. They have lots of old and injury-prone starters, so there are definitely big question marks on this team, and it is a starting rotation. But their bullpen has been pretty good. Kenley Jansen has been surprisingly one of the best closers in baseball. He's been doing it for a very long time, but he is getting up there in age, so that's why I say it's a surprise, but he's been really good. The Red Sox have been very hot as of late, as they've won 7 of their past 10 games, and I really do hope they keep it up, and I think they are a top 10 team in baseball today. At number 6, I have the Texas Rangers. This offseason, the Rangers made some pretty big moves, and as expected, they have taken a big step forward. As of today, they sit at 23-15, which is good for 1st place in the AL West. Offensively, Marcus Semien has been the star of this team. He's been all around one of the best offensive players in the game this season, and they've also gotten huge contributions from Adolis Garcia, Jonah Heim, and Nathaniel Lowe. For their pitching, John Gray has been pretty good, and Nathan Eovaldi has looked like an ace up to this point, and while Jacob deGrom is injured right now, he has been pitching very well. In my eyes, the Rangers are legitimate contenders. I think they're knocking on the door of being a top 5 team in the league, and I think they have a legitimate chance to hang on and win the AL West this season. At number 5, I have the Toronto Blue Jays. The Jays, on paper, are clearly one of baseball's best teams, and they've looked like it up to this point, as they have a 22-16 record. They have been very competitive in the most competitive division in baseball. Offensively, they've been getting huge contributions from Matt Chapman and Vladimir Guerrero, and they also have Bo Bichette, who's been playing like a star as well. In their starting rotation, they've gotten big contributions from Kevin Gausman and Chris Bassett, who recently just threw a complete game, so they have been very good so far, and I think they are going to continue to play very well. We also can't forget about Jordan Romano, who has been locking down save after save. He is very reliable and one of the best closers in the league. This team is star-studded. They are going to be one of the best teams in baseball all year long, and I have them coming in at number 5. At number 4, I have the Baltimore Orioles. As we stand today, the Orioles sit at 25-13, which is tied with the Braves for the second best record in baseball. They have proven to be one of the best teams in baseball. They've been very competitive against their divisional opponents who are also very good teams, so I think the O's are going to continue to play very well, and so far they've proven that last year was not a fluke. They've been getting big contributions from their offensive stars in Adley Rutschman and Cedric Mullins, and we can't forget about other names in this offense who have stepped up in Ryan Mountcastle and Jorge Mateo. Now for their starting rotation, they don't necessarily have an ace, but they've been getting lots of good innings from various different pitchers. But their bullpen has been absolutely dominant this season. Felix Bautista and Yanier Cano are probably the best 1-2 punch in the bullpen in the league this year. They have been unhittable. At number 3, I have the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers got off to a pretty cold start, but ever since then, they have been probably the best team in baseball. They currently sit at 24-15, which is good for first place in the NL West. Their stars have been showing up in Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, who have been playing very good this year, and they've also gotten good contributions from Max Muncy and James Outman. Their pitching has also been very good, like usual. Clayton Kershaw has been dominant, and they are all around one of the best teams in baseball. The Dodgers, not much needs to be said about them. They're going to be good just like every other year, it seems like, so they're one of the best teams in baseball, and I have them coming in at number 3. At number 2, I have the Atlanta Braves. This should come as no surprise, as the Braves are clearly one of baseball's best teams. Offensively, they are star-studded. They've been getting huge contributions from players like Ronald Acuna, Sean Murphy, Matt Olson, and Ozzie Albies. And they even have a few other stars who have gotten off to slow starts who will pick it up soon in Michael Harris and Austin Riley. For their pitching, they have probably the NL Cy Young up to this point in Spencer Strider, who is a strikeout machine, and Bryce Elder has also been really good. Raisel Iglesias just returned from the IL last week, so he's going to continue to get back into his role, and if he does stay healthy, he's one of the best closers in the league. This team is going to be very good all year long. I think they're a 100+ win team, and I have them coming in at number 2. And finally, at number 1, I have the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays are the number 1 team in the best division in baseball, as they currently sit at 30-10. They have 3 players right now who are legitimately in the AL MVP conversation in Randy Arozarena, Wander Franco, and Yandy Diaz. Shane McClanahan also looks like a Cy Young candidate, as up to this point he's posted a 1.76 ERA. But the one issue with this starting rotation is the injury bug. They have gotten hit with it hard, as they're without some of their best starters in Tyler Glasnow, Drew Rasmussen, and Jeffrey Springs. So Tampa Bay's pitching depth is really going to be tested throughout the next couple months as they get back and healthy, so we'll see how they do. But we all have to remember this is a Tampa Bay Rays we're talking about. They're notorious for playing very well with not the best talent in the world, so I think they're going to be just fine. Tampa Bay is clearly the number 1 team in baseball right now, and it is not close. Real quick, before we wrap the video up, I want to go over a few teams who just missed out on the list, and the Diamondbacks, Mariners, and Phillies. But anyways, that's going to wrap today's video up. Let me know what you guys think down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.